For centuries, the San Andreas Fault has remained eerily silent.
But there hasn't been a big earthquake on the southern San Andreas Fault for a long time, and we may have found a reason why.
But that silence may be about to break. NASA has just issued a chilling warning. A massive earthquake is not just possible, it's overdue. Scientists say the fault is locked and loaded, ready to unleash devastation across California. So why is no one prepared? What happens when the ground beneath us finally gives way? Stay tuned to find out. A ticking time bomb. In a world that rests on the ticking time bombs of tectonic activity, the San Andreas Fault stands as the most notorious. Whispers among experts hint at something ominous. Is the fault line stirring from its slumber? Are we on the cusp of witnessing nature's ferocity in a display unlike any we've seen before? As groundbreaking revelations come to light, we must ask, how prepared are we truly for what's lurking below? Recent studies indicate that the fault is not merely a static entity, it's a dynamic and evolving threat. Advanced seismic monitoring technologies have captured unsettling movements along the fault line, suggesting it could be gearing up for a significant event. Experts are now scrambling to piece together data that may reveal patterns leading to catastrophic shifts, and the stakes have never been higher. Imagine a sudden jolt, a violent shaking that resonates across the landscape, causing buildings to tremble and roads to crack. As the tremors intensify, the real horror unfolds. The ground beneath our feet is not just shifting, it's creating a cascading disaster. Tsunamis, once a distant threat, could emerge as a direct consequence of this seismic turmoil, sweeping across coastlines with unprecedented force. But there's more to the story. The interconnectedness of the fault with nearby geological features means that the repercussions of a major quake could be felt far beyond California. Scientists are increasingly concerned about a chain reaction that might trigger other faults, escalating the destruction. Communities in vulnerable zones must grapple with the chilling possibility that their safety nets are threadbare, and their emergency plans may not hold against the impending chaos. Moreover, historical data paints a grim picture. The last major quake on the San Andreas was over a century ago. As the Earth's crust continues to build pressure, it's as if we are holding our breath, waiting for the inevitable exhale that could send shockwaves through our lives. Are we truly ready for such an upheaval? The average citizen is blissfully unaware of the seismic dance occurring just miles beneath them, while emergency services scramble to update their protocols in anticipation of the unthinkable. And consider this: the psychological impact of living on the brink. The knowledge that a catastrophic quake could strike at any moment weighs heavily on the minds of those in the region. It breeds anxiety, sparking a frantic rush to prepare, yet leaving many paralyzed by fear. The urgency to act clashes with the reality of how unprepared we may actually be. As we delve deeper into the seismic abyss, one must ponder the question: how much longer can we ignore the warning signs? The Earth may be a silent witness, but it is far from passive. We are teetering on the edge of a geological precipice, and the consequences of inaction could be more devastating than we dare to imagine. The precarious balance. The precarious nature of life in these seismic hotspots balances between anticipation and apprehension. This delicate equilibrium hangs in the air, and the entire world is keeping a vigilant eye, hoping that the forecasts will come to fruition without incident. Yet, with each passing day, the tension between the Pacific and North American tectonic plates escalates, fueling fears of a catastrophic earthquake that could reshape our very understanding of seismic threats. As scientists analyze patterns and anomalies in seismic activity, they are uncovering unsettling truths about the fault's behavior. The frequency of minor tremors has increased, acting as a precursor to more significant events. These so-called foreshocks could serve as alarming indicators of a larger quake, yet they often go unnoticed by the general public. How many more of these silent warnings must we ignore before it's too late? In urban centers like Los Angeles, the stakes are incredibly high. Towering skyscrapers and sprawling infrastructure lie directly in the path of potential destruction. The sheer volume of people living and working in these areas adds a layer of complexity to disaster preparedness. Emergency protocols are being updated, But the reality remains. Can we ever be truly ready for the chaos that could erupt with little to no warning? Moreover, this precarious balance isn't limited to the physical realm. Economic implications loom large as well. The costs of retrofitting buildings and enhancing infrastructure are astronomical. Insurance companies brace themselves for the fallout, while local economies could crumble under the weight of widespread devastation. The very fabric of society is at risk, caught in a vicious cycle of uncertainty and dread. In addition, as climate change alters weather patterns, there's a growing concern about how these changes may interact with seismic activity. For instance, heavier rainfall can increase the risk of landslides in areas already vulnerable due to tectonic instability. The potential for a compounded disaster raises critical questions about our readiness to face not one, but multiple crises simultaneously. Communities are left to grapple with a profound sense of vulnerability. The unpredictability of the earth beneath them serves as a constant reminder of their fragility. In this atmosphere of tension, local leaders and citizens alike must confront the reality that while we may strive for preparedness, nature has its own agenda, one that often disregards human timelines and aspirations. As the balance shifts ever so slightly, every tremor, every crack becomes a reminder of the volatility of our existence in these seismic zones. We find ourselves caught in a web of anticipation and fear, with the potential for catastrophe lurking just beneath the surface. A volatile confluence. Geologists and seismologists are now focusing intently on the volatile confluence where these massive plates collide. The Pacific Plate, relentlessly driving westward, meets the American Plate, which stands defiantly against this movement. This ongoing struggle has been building tension for decades, leading to a precarious standoff that may soon erupt into seismic instability. The dynamics of this geological face-off are complex. Each day, the Pacific Plate exerts immense pressure, slowly grinding against its North American counterpart. As the stress accumulates, the potential for a catastrophic rupture looms larger, igniting debates among experts regarding when and where the next big earthquake might strike. Every new study unveils startling evidence that the fault is not just a line on a map, but a living, breathing entity that reacts to shifts in the Earth's crust. Recent satellite imagery and advanced seismic sensors are providing unprecedented insights into the fault's behavior. Researchers have detected subtle movements that could foreshadow significant activity. It's a race against time as scientists attempt to decode the signals emanating from this geological battleground. The question remains, will they succeed in predicting the unthinkable before it's too late? Moreover, this volatile intersection of tectonic forces has repercussions far beyond California. The impact of a major quake could trigger landslides and tsunamis that threaten coastal communities thousands of miles away. Imagine a chain reaction of seismic events that disrupt not just local infrastructure, but entire economic systems reliant on stability. Ports could close, supply chains could falter, and lives could be irrevocably altered. In addition to the physical dangers, the psychological toll on communities residing in this earthquake-prone zone cannot be understated. Families are forced to confront the reality of living in constant uncertainty, where a normal day could suddenly transform into a scene of chaos. Emergency drills become a part of life, but how effective are they in preparing people for the visceral shock of an actual disaster? As awareness of these risks spreads, local governments are urged to bolster their readiness. Investments in retrofitting buildings and improving early warning systems are crucial steps, yet funding remains a contentious issue. How do you allocate resources for potential disasters when everyday needs are just as pressing? Furthermore, the scientific community is calling for enhanced collaboration across disciplines. Understanding the intricate relationships between geology, environmental science, and even urban planning is essential to mitigate the impending threats. The convergence of knowledge from diverse fields may provide the keys to developing effective strategies to navigate the seismic storm brewing beneath us. In this delicate equilibrium of forces, we find ourselves standing at a critical juncture. The San Andreas Fault is not merely a geological feature, it is a harbinger of potential chaos, an intricate dance of plates that could unleash untold devastation at any moment. Preparedness in action. Experts emphasize the importance of being prepared. Local governments and disaster management agencies are tirelessly crafting exhaustive contingency plans, anticipating a day when the ground beneath California's feet might tremble. Evacuation routes are meticulously plotted, and emergency shelters are being fortified, fueled by the jarring memories of past seismic disasters that remind us of the catastrophic potential that lurks beneath our cities. Training drills have become a common sight, with first responders simulating responses to various disaster scenarios. These exercises not only aim to improve coordination among agencies, but also serve as a wake-up call to the public. Yet, despite these efforts, a pervasive sense of complacency often blankets the region. Many residents are unaware of the true extent of their vulnerability, viewing preparedness as a distant concern rather than an immediate necessity. In schools, children participate in drop, cover, and hold-on drills. But how effective are these measures when the real event strikes? Experts warn that preparedness must go beyond mere drills. It needs to cultivate a culture of resilience. Communities must engage in open dialogues about their risks, fostering an environment where discussions about disaster preparedness become as common as conversations about the weather. Furthermore, local businesses are being urged to develop their own emergency plans. The economic repercussions of a major quake could be devastating, and businesses that are not prepared may face catastrophic losses. How many companies have considered the ramifications of losing not just physical assets, but also their employees' safety and well-being? Technological innovations are also playing a crucial role in preparedness. Advances in earthquake detection systems are promising quicker alerts that could save lives. However, this technology relies on widespread public awareness and trust. If people ignore alerts or fail to understand their significance, the potential benefits are diminished. How can authorities ensure that communities respond effectively when the alarms sound? Moreover, the question of social equity in disaster preparedness is increasingly coming to the forefront. Vulnerable populations, including low-income communities and the elderly, often lack access to resources necessary for effective emergency preparedness. Tailored outreach programs are essential to bridge this gap, ensuring that everyone, regardless of socioeconomic status, has the knowledge and tools to safeguard themselves during a seismic event. As climate change further complicates the landscape, the need for adaptive preparedness becomes ever more critical. Increased rainfall and flooding may alter the risks associated with earthquakes, creating new challenges for disaster response teams. The interplay between these environmental factors necessitates a holistic approach to preparedness, one that accounts for the multifaceted nature of disaster risks. In this high-stakes environment, the notion of being prepared takes on new meaning. It's not merely about having a plan. It's about fostering a collective mindset that prioritizes safety, resilience, and adaptability. As communities brace for the possibility of seismic upheaval, the call to action has never been more urgent. Holding our breath. As populations in the surrounding areas hold their breath, scientists meticulously monitor the tectonic tensions, hoping their efforts will stave off a catastrophe of unprecedented proportions. Recent research has uncovered alarming insights about a previously overlooked section of the fault. The middle segment, once deemed relatively stable, is now recognized as a potential source of significant seismic activity. This revelation has sparked heightened concerns among specialists, leading to a reevaluation of the entire fault's risk profile. The implications of this discovery are profound. This middle segment, lying between the densely populated urban centers of Los Angeles and San Francisco, now emerges as a ticking time bomb that could unleash tremendous energy at any moment. Experts are working tirelessly to understand the mechanics at play, employing cutting-edge technology to gather data on seismic shifts and patterns. However, as they dig deeper, the findings often lead to more questions than answers, leaving both scientists and the public in a state of unease. Communities near this volatile zone are now faced with an urgent need for updated risk assessments. As new models emerge, some experts warn that the traditional understanding of the fault's behavior may no longer suffice. The once predictable patterns of seismic activity are evolving, leading to a growing consensus that we must prepare for the unexpected. This shifting landscape of knowledge complicates the already challenging task of disaster preparedness. Meanwhile, The emotional toll on residents is palpable. Families living in the shadow of the San Andreas Fault grapple with the constant tension of uncertainty. Each tremor or aftershock serves as a reminder that they are perched atop one of nature's most formidable forces. This psychological strain can manifest in various ways: anxiety, stress, and a pervasive sense of helplessness, as they ponder the potential implications of the scientists' findings. In addition, the media frenzy surrounding these revelations adds another layer of complexity. Sensational headlines can incite panic, leading to hasty decisions among residents unprepared for the reality of a major earthquake. The challenge lies in balancing the urgency of the message without inciting undue fear. How can authorities effectively communicate the risks without overwhelming the public? Furthermore, with every new piece of information, there are calls for increased funding for research and public education. Understanding the mechanics of the fault is crucial, yet budget constraints often hinder comprehensive studies. As scientists lobby for resources, the question remains: how can we prioritize seismic research in an age where so many issues vie for attention and funding? As the days unfold, scientists continue to hold their breath alongside the communities they study, hoping to uncover critical insights that could avert disaster. The stakes are high, and the clock is ticking. Each moment that passes without a significant event feels like a reprieve, but the underlying tensions remain. The balance of knowledge and ignorance, of preparedness and complacency, hangs delicately in the air. Unveiling the unknown. With sophisticated imaging and precise measurements, researchers have unveiled the fault's latent potential for generating major earthquakes. This shift in understanding prompts a critical reassessment of land use planning, emergency preparedness, and building regulations in the affected regions. The complexities of geology are multifaceted, often revealing shocks that challenge previously held beliefs. Recent advancements in technology, including 3D seismic imaging and satellite monitoring, have allowed scientists to visualize the fault structure in unprecedented detail. These insights expose hidden complexities, such as previously unidentified fault segments, that could lead to significant seismic events. This revelation not only heightens the urgency for rigorous geological assessments, but also challenges communities to rethink their vulnerability. As a result, local governments are now grappling with the implications of these findings. Planning departments are under pressure to integrate geological data into their zoning laws, creating a ripple effect that influences everything from infrastructure development to emergency response strategies. The reality is stark. Decisions made today will determine the safety and resilience of communities tomorrow. Moreover, the construction industry faces mounting scrutiny. New building codes are being proposed to ensure that structures can withstand the forces of nature. Architects and engineers are being called upon to innovate, designing buildings that are not only aesthetically pleasing but also capable of withstanding seismic shocks. The shift is profound. It represents a paradigm change in how we think about safety and resilience in the built environment. The urgency of this reassessment is palpable in public forums, where residents express their fears and frustrations. Many question whether current regulations go far enough in safeguarding lives and property. Advocacy groups are rallying for more stringent codes, pushing for accountability from both developers and policymakers. Yet, as the debate intensifies, so does the challenge of balancing economic growth with safety. In the academic realm, discussions about the implications of these discoveries are gaining momentum. Scholars are revisiting historical data, seeking to understand past earthquakes through the lens of new knowledge. This retrospective analysis not only enriches our understanding of seismic activity, but also emphasizes the importance of learning from history to inform future preparedness efforts. As communities confront the reality of living atop a geological time bomb, the conversation shifts towards empowerment. Education becomes a key tool in equipping residents with the knowledge they need to protect themselves. Workshops and informational sessions are being organized, focusing on practical steps individuals can take to secure their homes and prepare for potential disasters. Yet amidst this growing awareness, a lingering question persists. How do we effectively communicate the nuances of geological risks without inciting panic? The scientific community must navigate the fine line between raising alarm and fostering informed resilience. The challenge lies in translating complex geological data into actionable insights that empower individuals and communities. As we peel back the layers of the unknown, the urgency to adapt and prepare becomes increasingly clear. The fault, once an abstract concept, now looms large in the collective consciousness, demanding attention and action. The journey to uncover the truth about the San Andreas Fault is just beginning, and the implications for our safety and future are more critical than ever. The scary possibilities. Imagine a scenario where the ground shakes violently, sending shockwaves rippling through cities, collapsing buildings, and triggering landslides in mountainous regions. The aftermath could be catastrophic. Entire communities may find themselves unprepared for the chaos that ensues. Tsunamis, too, could be an unwelcome consequence, with offshore ruptures displacing massive volumes of water and threatening coastal areas far beyond California. As the seismic activity escalates, the immediate effects are dire. Infrastructure, the very backbone of urban life, could buckle under the strain. Bridges may collapse, cutting off vital transportation routes and isolating communities. Power outages would plunge cities into darkness, crippling emergency response efforts and leaving residents scrambling for safety. In the wake of such devastation, the chaos would quickly escalate, with panic spreading among those unprepared for the harsh realities of disaster. The potential for landslides in mountainous regions adds another layer of danger. In areas already susceptible to such events, the shaking earth could trigger cascading avalanches of rock and debris, burying homes and highways. Rescuers would face daunting challenges as they navigate treacherous terrain in their efforts to reach trapped individuals. The complexities of rescue operations multiply when dealing with multiple disasters at once, straining resources and overwhelming emergency services. Even more alarming is the possibility of tsunamis generated by an offshore rupture. These colossal waves could travel swiftly, obliterating coastal communities in a matter of minutes. Residents near the shore would have little time to react, forced to flee to higher ground as towering walls of water descend upon them. The destruction would extend far beyond the initial quake, with the ocean's fury wreaking havoc on infrastructure, ecosystems, and livelihoods. As the scope of potential devastation becomes clearer, the question of preparedness looms large. Are we truly equipped to handle the aftermath of such catastrophic events? Many experts argue that our current strategies fall short, highlighting the need for comprehensive planning that addresses the full spectrum of disaster scenarios. This includes not just immediate response measures, but also long-term recovery efforts that can help communities rebuild in the wake of disaster. Furthermore, the economic repercussions of such events could be staggering. Local economies heavily reliant on tourism, trade, and agriculture would face devastating blows. Recovery efforts could stretch for years, with businesses struggling to regain their footing amidst ongoing uncertainty. The financial toll would ripple through communities, affecting livelihoods and quality of life for countless individuals. In this frightening landscape of possibilities, mental health emerges as a critical concern. The psychological impact of surviving a major disaster can linger long after the physical scars have healed. Survivors may grapple with trauma, anxiety, and grief as they attempt to rebuild their lives. Understanding and addressing these mental health challenges is essential for fostering resilience in the aftermath of a catastrophic event. As we envision these scary possibilities, it becomes evident that the stakes are high. The San Andreas Fault serves as a potent reminder of nature's capacity for destruction, and the time to act is now. In an age of uncertainty, communities must come together to prepare for what lies ahead, embracing the reality that the ground beneath our feet could shift at any moment. The quest for understanding. The scientific community is unwavering in its pursuit of knowledge, and as they grapple with this unsettling information, they work diligently to provide accurate forecasts and well-informed strategies aimed at protecting lives and infrastructure. But will it be enough? Researchers are employing an array of innovative techniques to deepen our understanding of seismic activity. Advanced computational models simulate various earthquake scenarios, allowing scientists to explore how different factors, such as fault interactions and geological conditions, might influence the severity and impact of a quake. These simulations not only enhance predictive capabilities, but also serve as crucial tools for emergency planners striving to devise effective response strategies. Collaboration among scientists has become more vital than ever. Geologists, seismologists, urban planners, and emergency managers are coming together to share insights, and develop a holistic understanding of the risks posed by the San Andreas Fault. Interdisciplinary workshops and conferences facilitate the exchange of ideas, fostering an environment where knowledge is rapidly disseminated and applied. However, the quest for understanding is not without its challenges. Despite significant advancements, the inherent complexity of geological systems means that uncertainty remains a constant companion. Variables such as shifting tectonic pressures, unpredictable aftershocks, and the unknowns associated with human behavior during disasters complicate efforts to create definitive forecasts. Each new discovery can bring both clarity and confusion, leading to a landscape of knowledge that is as dynamic as it is daunting. Moreover, public communication of these findings poses its own set of challenges. Scientists must navigate the delicate task of conveying the gravity of the situation without inciting panic. How do you instill a sense of urgency while also empowering communities with the knowledge they need to take proactive measures? The balance between transparency and caution is critical as they strive to engage the public in meaningful dialogue about preparedness and resilience. As research continues to unfold, questions about the implications of this knowledge linger. What happens when communities learn about the true extent of their risks? Will they rally together to enhance preparedness, or will fear lead to paralysis? The dynamics of public response are complex, and researchers are increasingly focused on understanding how to foster a culture of readiness. In parallel, funding for seismic research and preparedness initiatives remains a contentious issue. While many recognize the importance of investing in scientific inquiry, budget constraints often lead to tough decisions. Advocates argue that prioritizing seismic safety is not just a matter of financial allocation, but a moral imperative to safeguard lives and communities. Yet, as competing interests vie for attention, the question of how best to secure necessary resources persists. As the quest for understanding progresses, the urgency for action grows. The clock is ticking, and each moment spent in research and dialogue is an opportunity to build a foundation for future resilience. The San Andreas Fault stands as a powerful reminder of nature's unpredictability, but it is also a call to unite in our efforts to confront the unknown and prepare for whatever lies ahead. The clock is ticking. The clock is ticking, and every moment of inaction could potentially seal the fate of millions. As the San Andreas Fault remains an ever-present threat, the delicate balance between anticipation and apprehension continues to loom over those who call this region home. The urgency for decisive action is palpable, yet the complexities of coordinating such efforts often lead to stagnation. Local governments find themselves in a race against time, striving to implement necessary infrastructure upgrades and emergency protocols. Aging buildings and outdated emergency plans present formidable challenges that require substantial investment and political will. Each delay in action increases the risks, making it clear that proactive measures must be prioritized over reactive ones. Communities are beginning to engage more deeply in preparedness initiatives, driven by a sense of urgency. Neighborhood watch groups and local organizations are stepping up to educate residents on safety practices and emergency procedures. Grassroots efforts aim to foster a culture of preparedness, equipping individuals with the knowledge and tools to act effectively when disaster strikes. Meanwhile, the scientific community is racing to develop early warning systems that could provide critical seconds of advance notice before seismic activity strikes. As history has shown, nature's fury is unpredictable, and even the most advanced warning systems have their limits. From La Palma's volcanic eruption to the devastating earthquakes in Haiti, Japan, and Nepal, the world has witnessed the destructive power of sudden disasters. The San Andreas Fault is no exception. Scientists warn that a massive quake could strike at any moment, reshaping California as we know it. With billions in potential damage and countless lives at stake, are we truly prepared? Or are we simply waiting for the inevitable? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more updates. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.